Yo, what's up, y'all? Today we're talking about mid-game macro for control mages, champions like Viktor, Syndra, and Azir. Today we're going to talk about what is mid-game, what point in the game we're talking about. We're going to talk about our strengths, general rules to optimize our strengths, and kind of cover our weaknesses, and I'm going to show you guys some examples. So let's go ahead and hop into it, starting with what is mid-game. Now, very generally, mid-game is, right, it's after laning phase. So we're not going to have the exact same rules of laning phase, but it's before late game, like before the really late game fights. So it happens around 2 times. Generally, mid game happens when your bot lane starts to move. So if they want to take mid or if they want to take top, that's when mid game starts. Now that generally happens when one of these towers falls, either the mid or the top tower, or mid or bottom tier 1 tower. When these tier 1 towers fall, your bot lane, kind of the map opens up and it allows them to rotate, right? So let's say your bot breaks this tier 1 tower. Well, now if they're going to want more plates, they're going to either rotate mid or top and try to open up this part of the map. That's the beginning of mid game. The second sign is around 14 minutes. Now at 14 minutes into the game, tower plates fall off. So around 14 minutes, your bot lane may start to move before this tower falls anyways, just to try to open up a different part of the map, and they're not as tethered to the plates anymore, right? So usually it happens when one of these towers falls or around 14 minutes, and really you can tell lane phase is over when people start kind of rearranging where they go. This is what we're kind of looking for. Now, where people go depends on what they want to do. So some bot lanes, like let's say you have a bot lane that just wants to eat tower plates. You have Lucian Nami. They're probably going to break this tower really, really fast. And then they're going to look to go either top or mid and just break whatever tower looks easiest next, right? Where if you have a bot lane that's more just kind of holding down a part of the map, maybe you have Caitlyn Lux, they'll mostly want to just take mid from you. And when they take mid from us, it's our job as the mid laner to kind of let them have that and go get our farm elsewhere. How exactly we go about doing that changes based on who you're playing as well. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about how to balance, as a control mage, our strengths. So we have to balance 2 big things when we're playing a champion like Viktor or Syndra or Azir. 1, we need income to scale. When we're in the mid game, we usually only have our mythic done. Maybe we have pieces of another item. Maybe we're just finishing our mythic. We're somewhere in that stage. Now, as control mages, the longer the game goes on, the more we scale typically. So we need to keep our income high. We're very income reliant. We need to stay farming. We need to keep high CS per minute. We need to catch side lane waves, all that kind of thing. But the second thing we need to acknowledge is we need to create space in a way that we do it well. So as control mages, we like to front to back, right? That's how we like to play team fights. We like our front line to be here and us to be right here, and then the enemies to be this way. It's this very nice front to back formation. We do not like to be in the side lane by ourselves, because if we're in the side lane, and let's say we're pushed up, not only do we lose the 1v1 to most mid laners and assassins, we also lose the 1v1 to most top laners, and we don't have any escapes for if we get ganked, right? And this lane is so extended, they can force all ins really easily. So thing 1, we need income to scale. Thing 2, we don't create space in the side lane, and we would like to front to back in fights. So that's why in my reviews with control mages, I talk about 2 kind of important times in the mid game. There's farm time and there's play time. Now, just by the names, they're pretty simple, but play time is whenever there's an important objective. So let's say, or an important fight. So this picture here is an example of playtime. My team is saying, hey, let's make a play mid. We're going to try to come down for this. As the control mage, you need to be mid, kind of right beside your enchanter support or beside your ADC. Our tank's going to come in here and we're in a nice front to back formation. Then we're going to push this. We're going to gain vision. We're going to break these 2 towers. We're going to gain control of this quadrant. We're going to do dragon. We're making a play for an objective and for map control. And I want to be in that play. So I'm going to be mid front to back. That's kind of what playtime is. Farm time is the opposite. It's when there is no play, right? There's no objective. My team's not really pinging to make a play. We're all just chilling. This is when we're going to go to the side lane. I'm going to catch this wave. I'm going to push it out, but I'm not going to push it out too far because, again, we don't have a lot of mobility or a lot of self-peel to get out of a sticky situation. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to crash this wave and I'm going to take these jungle camps. Actually, in this screenshot, I had already taken these jungle camps on my way up. I'm going to take these jungle camps because my jungle's bot lane. I'm going to farm this wave and I'm just keeping my farm high. And that's how I'm going to scale into this game. If there's playtime, we need to be with the team playing front to back. Now, playtime only happens a little bit. Like there's not a lot of playtime. Sometimes your teams will take bad fights. It's your job to decide if the fight is worth taking or not. This one I thought was worth taking because Quinn was top. But sometimes, especially in low elo, teams will just fight here. And it's better if we're just farming bottom, right? Or we're taking this camp, or we're taking this crab, or we're ready to catch this wave top. You have to decide, is the playtime worth it? There's not that much playtime. It's very rare to have a good playtime. We're mostly looking to farm. The biggest takeaways here are when important plays are happening, we need to be mid, we need to be with the team. If nothing major is happening, we need to be farming because we're incredibly CS reliant. Now let's take a look at a couple of examples. So in this example, this is a game where I am the only player on my team performing well. You can see the score is 3-8. I have 2 of our team's 3 kills. I am very well farmed at 14 minutes, and I'm playing the Viktor here. So I know my team is behind. Now, when you're behind and your team is behind, you don't tend to win fights. So if you don't win fights, there aren't any good winning plays to take. There is no playtime, right? So if we never win a play, there is no playtime. That means my job here is to farm as much as possible, keep my CS high, and try to just complicate the game, do not take any simple fights so that I can kind of scale, right? I'm a control mage. I want to scale. I want to make the game hard for them to close out. So I'm going to make me as strong as possible while kind of complicating the game so I can try to find an angle back in. If we just go take a 5v5 mid here and try to fight for dragon, we're just going to lose it. It doesn't matter that I'm really strong relative to my laner. Their team is really strong relative to my team. So we just lose the fight. We cannot play. So this is an example of a game we would just never go mid, right? We'll never be mid lane unless we're catching a wave because nobody else is there. But otherwise, we'll never go mid. We're going to crash this wave. I'm going to go take this blue. I'm going to chill here, and I'm just going to try to get all the farm I can, right? My team's probably going to make a play on Camille. I'm going to sit out of vision safely, right? One of the most important things about farm time is we're not dying for the farm. And once they make a play and I see people on the map, I'll go back to farming and pushing. And that's how I'm going to play this game out. Now, if we take a look at the second example, this is an example of play time. In this game, our team's actually ahead or even-ish. And I'm ahead of my lane because I'm against a Vladimir. So I crash this bottom wave. I see dragon spawning in about 30 seconds-ish here. This dragon spawning in about 30 seconds, and my team's looking to play mid. So me, knowing that it's playtime, we're setting up a play on this objective. I'm going to walk mid. I'm going to put myself in a front-to-back position to help siege this. We're going to take control of this quadrant. We get the dragon for free. That's really what the key to mid-game is on these control mages. It's pretty formulaic, but the biggest mistakes I see is people either trying to farm when big objectives are happening, right? And we would call that bad tempo. If you're trying to farm while objectives are happening, you're going to just put your team in a losing spot, right? Or I see people not farm enough and then they just perma ARAM. And again, that's bad tempo. That's playing too fast because you as a control mage need to have high CS per minute. If we're playing Viktor, Syndra, Orianna, these champions, and we're not 8 CS a minute or higher, we are trolling and we need to go get that up. The way that we get that up is we get the heck out of mid lane and we go catch the side lane waves. We go take the jungle camps. We do stuff like that. So that's one of the most common mistakes I see. The other big common mistake I see is dying. Now it sounds obvious, like, oh, hey, don't die. But let's say in this situation, let's rewind 30 seconds. If we go back 30 seconds and let's say I was trying to push up too far, and I tried to make a play on Vladimir and I died to a gank. Well, if I died to a gank 30 seconds ago, I'm going to go back to base, my death timer, I don't know, it's 15, 16 minutes into the game. It's going to be 20, 25 seconds, somewhere in there. Well, now I'm dead while they're trying to make this play and my team is just playing a 4v5, right? And then we start this thing where now they're going to try to make the play and then they're going to die because they're 4v5. They're going to lose it. Then we lose this neutral objective. And then when we come up and we're now back on the map, our team is going to be dead. So then we have to be really careful. And we call this the domino effect, right? You dying would be the first domino. your team making this awkward play down a person would be the next domino. And then you coming alive while your team's dead and trying to get farm and then dying for it would be the next domino. I actually just made a video on this, so check that out if you want to hear more about it. It's the most common macro mistake I see. So really aim to avoid dying, especially at bad times. You have to kind of match with your team's pressure. Now, mid-game macro on a lot of these champions is pretty formulaic, so this was kind of a quick, simple video, but I want to put it out there because I need a resource to point to people to say, hey, this is what you need to be doing. Make sure your games look like this. You have to be high CS playing these champions. You have to be playing front to back when you want to play an important fight. You don't get to take flanks like an assassin does, and things like this. So I hope this was helpful if you play a control mage. I'll make a couple more videos like this for other types of champions. For example, assassins and burst mages kind of do the opposite of what control mages do. So I'll make that video pretty quick here. Let me know what you guys would like to see. I appreciate y'all watching till the end. Comment 11 minutes. You guys made it to the end of a JS video. I appreciate you. Y'all have a blessed night. Peace.